What's up chaps, I'm MagicalMike, this is Diablo 3 as you can see, and this is my Witch Doctor. Why am I showing you my Witch Doctor? Well, a few people wanted to know what it was like to play, and asked about my build and things, so I thought, well, why not? I've got nothing else to talk about right now. So, gonna be a lot of numbers and things, I'm recording this live, blah blah blah. Expect some waffling, because I can't help myself. So, this is a poison Witch Doctor. It relies on damage over time spells and things like that, and just basically running around. You can see that my damage isn't particularly high, but this is deceiving because of certain things like the gem in this guy increasing my damage by 22% that isn't shown on the damage number here, and the other two gems that I've got as well I'll talk about in a bit. I also have some poison damage increase, 61%, so that's not shown in the damage either. As you can see here, it says that I'm doing nearly 1.4 million poison damage. You know, if you've played Diablo, you've got some idea of what this is doing, and while I'm not an expert, I can sort of basically talk you through all of this stuff. I've got some crit chance, I've got some crit damage, that's pretty standard for every build ever, and then some damage to elites, because elites take a while to kill. Pretty decent resist actually, apart from fire. Fire's a bit low, but everything else really quite good. And I don't think there's anything particularly incredible else about this build. There's nothing really to point out apart from gear, I suppose. So the way the build works, I'll leave these numbers up and stuff so you can keep looking at them if you're interested, or you could just pause the video. So the way the gear works is that I'm relying on these two spells, Haunt and Locust Swarm. You see, these do quite a lot of damage, but the problem with them is that this one takes 12 seconds to go and do all of that damage, and this one takes 8 seconds. Well, there is a very special helm. I was confused as to which piece of gear it was. It's the helm. This Witch Doctor mask, Quetzalcoatl, I think is how you pronounce it. I don't know. That's not the important part. The legendary part of it is that Locust Swarm and Haunt now deal their damage in half of the normal duration. So that on its own doubles the effectiveness of these two skills. But the magic is really in this passive here, Creeping Death. Haunt, Locust Swarm and the damage amplification from piranhas last almost forever. Now that doesn't mean actually forever. What it does mean is that they last about 5 minutes. And if things aren't dead in 5 minutes, then you've got a problem in the build somewhere. So basically, I can just run past stuff, cast these two dots on them, group them up with piranhas, and wander off with my spirit walk and be totally fine, and find the next group and do the exact same thing, and easy peasy, everything dies. And I just get to run past stuff, and it's really quite simple. I have two pet skills, so I have zombie dogs leeching health for me, so that keeps me alive, and the gargantuan as a meat shield. Really, these are just like projectile barriers, same with the Templar really. And other stuff, this Horge Wrap belt means that Locust Swarm now slows enemies by 60%, and if you combine that with Bane of the Trapped, this increases the damage against enemies under the control impairing effect by 22%. This includes slow. So you see here that Locust Swarm jumps to about 1,000 things and slows them down, and then they're taking a lot more damage. Very, very simple. I also have these other two gems here. This efficacious toxin thing actually, I think, scales off of my poison damage increase. So that does a lot of damage, and they take 10% increased damage because of the rank 25 effect on it. Pretty good ring. And this guy is really up to you. For me, I used this Stone of Vengeance gem, but Bane of the Powerful will probably be just as good. It's an increased damage multiplier, up to 26.25%, as long as I'm getting far away from the enemies. So this encourages me to just poison stuff and then run off, basically. The whole build is just about leaving enemies behind, but I have a tendency to just sort of wait for them to die, because I do have a passive that decreases my cooldowns of things when things die near me, and occasionally things don't die too quickly. And the final thing that's really doing anything particularly interesting in the build, I have Jade stuff, but it doesn't. Actually, the new update here, just before Season 3 started, Haunt instantly deals 10 seconds worth of its damage, which is gonna be reasonably good for white mobs, I guess, but I've not really even tested that out yet. The last thing to talk about would be Wormwood, which is the staff. It's not the most ideal staff that I would wanted, but it's got a decent amount of poison damage on it, and it continuously plagues enemies around me, which is interesting because it means that I don't even need to use my right click skill anymore. I can be super lazy. I would prefer a furnace because that would increase my damage a lot, but I just didn't get lucky. So that's what we've got to work with. So, enough babbling about stuff. This is Torment 6. I'm just gonna jump into a rift and just kill some stuff. I'll be interested to see how exactly the Wormwood staff has been changed, because it looks like it does look different to how it was before, and this looks like a new map. This looks like the Fields of Misery. So literally I'll just walk near stuff and it sort of dies. The damage isn't fantastic. It's pretty good. You see the 24 million DoT damage coming off of something. I've no idea what is doing that damage out of all of my skills, but that's essentially how things work. And then you start getting into elite mobs like this and you can just kind of poison them up and run off, basically, if you don't get jailed anyway. Really, you just want to cast Haunt on the high health mobs, but I have a tendency to cast it on just about anything.
Health returns to me.
And yeah, I'm playing this wrong. I might want to add there. I should just be running off. See, as I run around and catch all these enemies with my aura, you see they all turn green and stuff. That's the gems affecting them, and all the poison affecting them. So I don't really have to do a whole lot here.
I am hurt.
I didn't even talk about the passives that I'm running, but I'm in combat now because I've got dots on everything ever. Nothing too special. I'm sure you'll be able to pause the video before when I did show them, but this is essentially it. And I guess I'm just going to run through this and splice footage of this stuff into the video where I was talking about gear and stuff. But yeah, that's really it. I've been playing a lot of Diablo 3, rank 272 Paragon in the last season. You know, some people played more. I won't name names. Damn. I'm just messing with you, man. Of course, I completely forgot to talk about Paragon points, which aren't too important. Let's be real here. My boots don't have movement speed on them, so I've just gone full movement speed here. I'm in combat right now, but don't worry about it. My crit chance was really good, but my crit damage was really bad, so I prioritised that. And then crit chance. Resist all, because that's just pretty good, and now armour. And life on hit to make my zombie dogs actually do some work for healing me. And then resource cost reduction. I'm going to go into area damage if I ever make it that far. So while this isn't the most efficient build in the world, I would say that it's actually been a lot of fun to run it, just because of how lazy it is. I barely need to put any effort at all into running this. I just run past stuff, things die, and I get to pick up gold and loot and fun stuff afterwards. Really quite cool. You know, normally I'm the kind of person who likes like whirlwind barbarians and stompy crusaders and stuff like that, and like huge blowy uppy wizardy type stuff, but this build's actually been really fun just to run around and not really have to try hard. And since Piranhas is off cooldown so often, and Jaunt as well, it means that I can do just dumb stuff, just aggro way too much, and be absolutely fine. Obviously I still die every now and then, but like, who doesn't? Even the hardcore guys die. And a lot of the time you won't even care about what loot is going on, you just kind of run past stuff and not really care. I'm just picking stuff up because it's fun to pick stuff up. I'm by no means like a hardcore player at all, but if you were going hardcore, you'd only go back for stuff like legendaries, which you can see on the map a mile away, and they do drop quite commonly in Torment 6, so you'll be able to see them and go pick them up and prioritize and do all that sort of stuff. It's a good build once you've got the momentum going as well, especially if you find any kind of pylons that increase that by any amount, because you can just charge through stuff, not care, things die as you walk past them, not even slightly difficult. See, Haunt is actually critting for a ton now with the new Jade Harvester bonus that I'd not even noticed that until just now.
The Rift Guardian.
Was that a 200 million crit? I'm not sure. Anyway, the Rift Guardian spawned. I could literally just dot him up and then leave. I can totally leave, and with the new update I can see him on the map wherever I'm at. And since this isn't a greater rift, there's still a ton of enemies to go kill, which I can do. I can just ignore the Rift Guardian. He will die. I have enough damage to kill him. And I can go farm more loot, more drops, and totally ignore him. And at some point you'll see in the chat that something will die. In fact, let's go check on him. He's about half dead. I'll just let him bleed out or poison out, whatever you want to call it, and carry on moving. Oh, he can teleport to me. Didn't know he could do that. 75% done though. Let's just go and see if there's any loot for me. Of course, staying reasonably close so that your Templar and your pets can do some damage is a tactic you can use, but it's not necessary. And that's him dead. And there's my stuff. There we go.
I am returning.
That was a very, very easy rift, and that's it for the video, I suppose. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. There we got nothing cool. Ooh, we got an ancient thing. But still nothing cool.